Even though I'm a biker, I wonder how every time I want to film, that's when all the big bikes in the neighborhood come out as well. So it becomes like a party outside there. Anyway, Happy New Year to you, because it's Happy New Year for me, even if you haven't wished me the same. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. The last video I think I posted was sometime in December, and now we're in January. And for this video, I wanted to do a little bit of a different kind of topic. I know we always talk about books, but being the first video of the year, I wanted to talk about like the goals that I have in relation to art for this year. And then like later on the videos, of course, they'll probably switch back to books, like talking about different books that I've read. So just for this video, I think I'm going to talk about all my goals to do with art in 2022, because a big part of my year this year, I'd really like it to be about me pursuing my art, because for a couple of years in the past it hasn't been a big part of my life, but for this one I'd really like it to be a big part of it. So I think I'll just go one by one, and if you also have any goals that you have for yourself when it comes particularly in regards to art, please feel free to list them down below in the comments, so that even me, I can steal one or two. Okay, I'm joking, but even so that all of us can see maybe what you have in the kind of things that you've set for yourself, and it might also inspire somebody else to pick them up as well. Me. So one of the things that I've decided is to be painting every day, and that is mainly because I have a big problem when it comes to color theory. I realize that I have kind of over-relied on the color picking tool. So when it comes to actual picking of colors, like I still have the fundamentals in my brain, but I want to make it more instinctual. So in order to do that, I want to be painting every day, even if it's like in the evening for a quick sketch in whichever medium that I decide to choose. That's one of the things that I'd really like to do. And still on that, I'd like to end up mastering watercolors, because that's the medium that I started with when I first started painting, and I think at this point I have really kind of abandoned it. So I want to like woo it back. You know, in Kiswahili we say I want to katia it, so that we become best of friends again, so that I can master it. And then still I picked up oil paints in December, and one of my goals this year is to end up, okay, most likely I won't become a master at it this year. You know, you have to be realistic, but to be at least better at it than I am right now, which is pretty horrible. And the reason why I really love them is because I love the smell of turpentine. Me being a drug addict aside, I really do love also the feel of the oil paints on the canvas, like the texture look. You know, that's something that you can't get as easily when you're using watercolors, and I didn't know how much I was missing it. Or rather how much I liked it, until I started painting digitally using oil brushes. So I saw the textures and how like you can layer the paints, and it got me really interested. And then of course on top of that, as I said, I really love the smell of turpentine, so I think it's going to be a good partnership. Now that is about paint. I've said about mastering color theory. Now onto like the other bit of it is that I'd love to be sketching faces every day, because part of my life is teaching kids how to draw, and the one thing that each and every kid that I've encountered wants to know how to do is to learn how to draw a face. All of them want to do that. And you know, as a teacher, you have to also be good at it. So as good as I am right now, I know that I could be better. And you get better by practicing the right thing, not really practicing the wrong thing, like the wrong fundamentals. So I want to become a master at that as well. So that'll be done by me and Pinterest being like this, and practicing how to sketch faces whenever I have free time. I remember back in 2019, whenever my work used to really take me around town everywhere. Like I'd be in a car all day as a passenger, because I'm lazy and with somebody who could drive. So I used to take that time to draw faces all the time. Like I had so many sketchbooks which were full of faces. Problem is that I am very not good at keeping things, so I have lost all those sketchbooks. Some of them I left them in restaurants, and when I went back they claimed that I did not see it. Yeah, I just want to pick back that habit and to be sketching faces every day. You know, it doesn't hurt to try and get better. And then still on sketching, One thing that I don't do much of, and I know I should do more of, is drawing still lifes and sketching, plein air sketching, like when you go outside, sit somewhere and then you just sketch. I think it's because I also don't have a background in art school. You know, people go to art school, from what I've gathered is that you have a lot of live sketches where there's a model who comes and sits there, stands there, and then you just draw. And that practice, it's something I really want to also have, because it's something I realize that I really rely on photographs. Like even when I want to draw something, like for example, if I want to draw this pen, what I would do is that I would put it, like I would frame it wherever I want to put it, maybe on like a piece of paper or whatever, like however I want to frame that image, and then I would take a photograph, then draw from that, instead of me just observing and drawing directly. So I feel like that's a crutch. I think that's a crutch, and I really want to work on that, as well as just going outside, sitting in the middle of the sun, although it's so hot. But anyway, just sitting in the middle of a field somewhere and just drawing what I can see. That's something I really want to pick up this year. On top of that, maybe not maybe, but I definitely want to make more classes, the ones which I've been uploading online. I'd really love to be able to do at least one class a month uploaded onto Skillshare. And even other than that, of course, I'll be also uploading the individual classes on other platforms like Udemy. Maybe depending on how the year goes, open up a Patreon account. But also for Patreon, you'll have to have a bit of an audience, and that's not something that I have been focusing on. Like I have my audience already on Skillshare, so I never really thought of building an audience out of it. So still going to think of that, how I'm going to do that. And I don't know if I said that I want to be making a video, at least one video a week. I don't know how that will go. It has failed spectacularly in the past, but new year, new me. I can say that I'll try at least once every week or once every 2 weeks. And I don't think I mentioned it in the last video, maybe I cut it out, but I want to be providing more value, like a bit longer length videos with more intensive details, so that even just by watching my YouTube videos, you can get some skills, whichever skills that I have to provide, and learn from that. So yeah, that's in terms of teaching, and also like hopefully get more students, kids. Kids are they require a lot of energy, so I'm also praying for energy, because they're really energetic, but I feel like that also gives me life. It keeps you on your toes, when you're teaching a kid how to draw, then become also really messy. My poor table will never be the same again. Anyway, yeah, and then I think finally, just to be more spontaneous when it comes to drawing. Sometimes a big crush that I have is that I think too much of what I want to draw, and then I end up not drawing it. Like I can't even tell you how many photos I have on my phone, which is what I'm using to record, of the sink, the tap for the sink. I've been wanting to draw that thing for so long, because I'm really attracted to shiny, silvery, reflective surfaces. So I have so many photos that have just filled up my gallery, but then when it comes to the time, I'm like, this is not good enough. Then I end up like thinking of something else to do. So I think I really want to be more spontaneous and like follow what inspires me. What inspires me is everything, so that's unfortunate. Like as I say, I'm a Jill of all trades, not jack of all trades. So just to be more spontaneous when it comes to drawing. Yeah, and I think that's the last of it. That's the last thing I had actually clicked off. Then I remembered one of the most, if not the most important goals that I've set for myself this year, which is to start some kind of formal training, education in art. Unfortunately or fortunately, I have a passion for teaching, for which I blame my parents, because they're both teachers. And fortunately or unfortunately, in order to do that, you need to have some kind of certification that you can show schools. Otherwise, you will not be employed as good as you are. So I'd really like to hopefully do a master's in art, if at all that's going to be possible without me having an undergraduate, because mine is in civil engineering. And if that's not possible, I might have to do a whole other bachelor's, Jesus Christ, a whole other bachelor's course in art, starting over fresh. Difference being there'll be less math. So I don't know how that will go, but keeping my options open. I hope also you've set for yourself, I think most people who watch this channel are very much into art, so I hope that you've also set for yourself at least some goals when it comes to art. Not too rigid, because I know also art is about being flexible and being I can only think of the word wishy-washy, but I think it's also good to kind of have a plan and know what you're working towards. So that's why I felt it was important to set these goals out in stone, or rather in video, so that I can use them to hold them against myself. I can hold yeah, well, you know what I'm trying to say, but so that there's like some digital evidence that I said that I'd do something, so that I can do it. Yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed this week's portrait, because I know what at least the artwork is going to be this week. It was really fun to draw. That was just a spontaneous thing that I drew in, I think, about 3 hours. I hope you've enjoyed watching along, and yeah, next week there'll be also another video. I'm not sure which day, but next week there'll definitely be a video. So yes, in case you want to learn how to draw, as I've said, the class is up on Skillshare and Udemy. If you'd like to learn how to draw and you're local to me, like in Nairobi, just reach out via Instagram. Links are below, and we can organize on how that can be done. Also, commissions are open. That's it. Catch you on the flippity flip.